Hey guys, welcome to another tutorial from gcecmathsguide.com. Today we're just going to go through the answers to one of the questions that I posted earlier on my blog. So let's just go ahead and take a look at some of those questions, and it's basically to do with common algebra questions for maths. So the first question that you had was a to the power 5 divided by a to the power 3. What you need to realize here is that whenever you've got the same base, in this case a, so here we have a, and you have a division going on, all you have to do is look at the powers. So here I've got 5 and here I've got 3. So I'm going to say a to the power 5 take away 3. So when you've got divide, you just take away the powers. So here I've done a to the power 5 take away 3, and that gives me a to the power of 2. If you had the multiplication, if my question was a to the power 5 times a to the power of 3, for instance, in that case you would add the powers. When it's a divide, you take away the powers. When it's a multiplication, you add the powers. So that would become a to the power of 8. Alright, let's take a look at part 2. Here I want to simplify the expression 2x squared times 3x squared y squared. First thing you're going to do is multiply the numbers. So 2 times 3 is equal to 6. Then I'm going to look at the variables, or the letters if you like, and in this case I've got x squared here and I've got another x squared there. When you've got the same variable or the same letters and you've got a multiplication going on, just like we said earlier, we're going to add the powers. So in this case I end up with x to the power of 4, and finally I've got y squared here, and on that side I don't have any y squared, so I'm just going to be left with y squared there, and there's my answer. Alright, next part we need to expand and simplify x plus 3 and x plus 7. When you've got double brackets, what you can do is just split up the first bracket in half, take the first term, which is the x, and then multiply with the second bracket, so x plus 7. Then take the second term of the first bracket, which is the plus 3, and then multiply with the second bracket again. And now we're going to multiply out the x with the x with the 7, so we're going to times it, and if I times it, x times x is equal to x squared, and x times 7 is equal to 7x, and here I've got plus, and in front of the x I also have a plus, but it's sort of invisible, so I know it's a positive x. So a positive times a positive gives me a positive, and x times 7 gives me 7x. Once you've done that, you're going to move on to the next one. So I'm going to do plus 3 times x, so that gives me plus 3x, and then plus 3 times plus 7, plus and a plus makes a plus, and 3 times 7 is equal to 21. In case you have forgotten the rules for multiplying directed numbers, so let's say I had a positive number and I want to times it with a positive number, I will always end up with a positive answer. If I've got a negative number and I times it with another negative number, I'm still going to end up with a positive answer. The quick way of remembering this is, when you've got two signs that are the same, the answer is positive. So next, if I've got a negative number and I want to times it with a positive number, in this case the signs are different, it becomes a negative answer. And finally, if I've got a positive one and I times it with a negative one, then my answer will become negative. Right, now coming back to the expression here, I've got x squared plus 7x plus 3x plus 21. When you get to that stage with double brackets, you have to simplify and you have to collect the like terms. In this case, the like terms is the plus 7x plus 3x because they're the same. Usually, when you've got double brackets, it's always the two terms in the middle that you have to add together. So my final answer becomes x squared plus 10x plus 21. Right, moving on. Part C, factorize fully 3pq minus 12p squared. When you're talking about factorizing, we're talking about putting this expression back inside brackets. So to do that, you're going to look at the numbers first, and here I've got 3 and 12. So you're going to ask yourself, what's the highest number that goes into 3 and 12? In this case, it's going to be 3. Next, take a look at the letters. So I've got the p here, and then I've got p squared. Now when you've got the same letters present on both sides, it means that you can find a common factor. To find that, all you have to do is look at the power of the actual letter. Here I've got p, and it has a invisible 1. When you've got a letter on its own, the power is 1. And that one there's got a power of 2. So you take the one with the lowest power. So in this case, it's just going to be p to the power of 1. I'm not going to write the 1 because in algebra you don't need to write it. Now let's take a look at the next letter. We've got q here, and on that side we don't have a q, so therefore we can't find a common factor for q. Once you've found all your factors, open up a bracket, and what you're going to do is you're going to multiply the 3p here with something so that you get back to the 3pq. Now the easy way of doing that is asking yourself what you're missing. Here I've got 3, and here I've got 3, so I don't need the 3 anymore. Here I've got p, and my original question had a p, so I don't need a p anymore. Here I'm missing a q with the 3p, and my original question had a q, so therefore I need a q there. Next I've got a minus, so I'm going to put a minus here. And again, here I've got 3, and I'm trying to get back to 12. What can I multiply the 3 by to make it 12? It's obviously going to be 4. Next, I've got a p here, but my original question had a p squared, so I need another p, because p times p gives me the p squared back. And finally, that's my answer, because I don't have any more letters to get. Part D, factorize 3y squared minus 10y plus 3. Here you need to realize that it's a quadratic, so this is a quadratic. And this quadratic has a coefficient in front of the y squared. Whenever you have a coefficient in front of the y squared, you need to multiply that number with the constant here, the last number, together. So we're going to do 3 times 3, and that gives me 9. So your job is to find two numbers times together that will give you 9, and added together will give you minus 10. And I know for a fact, if I've got minus 9 times minus 1, that's equal to plus 9, which is what we want here. And if I do minus 9 minus 1, that gives me minus 10. And they both meets my criteria. So I'm going to go ahead and use the minus 9 and the minus 1 and rewrite this whole expression just for the middle term. So the first term is going to stay the same. So that stays as 3y squared. The middle term is going to be rewritten using the two numbers that we've got here. So I'm going to write as minus 9y minus 1y, and the last term stays the same, plus 3. And now you're going to go ahead and split this up in half. You're going to factorize this part and that part separately. And again, we're going to do the same thing as what we've done earlier, where we find the common factors and we put it inside the bracket. So the highest number that goes into 3 and 9 is 3. The highest sorry, the factor for y squared and y is going to be y, because y has the lowest power. Then I'm going to open up a bracket. 3 times something is equal to 3, so it must be 1, so I don't need any more 3's. Here I've got y, and I need y squared, so I need 1 more y. I've got minus here, so I'm going to put a minus. I've got 3 here, but I need 9, so what can I multiply the 3 by to make it 9? So it's obviously going to be a 3. Here I've got a y, and I already have a y, so therefore I don't need any more y's. Now, just as a rule, whatever you have inside the brackets here, in your first bracket, you're going to have the same brackets on the other side. So it's going to be y minus 3. Just copy and paste whatever you've got here in the first part on the other bracket. And then ask yourself, what can you multiply the y by to bring you that minus 1y back? And it's obviously going to be minus 1. And finally, what you should notice here is that you've got two brackets that are the same, this one here and that one there. When you've got two brackets that are the same, we call that a common factor. So you only need to rewrite it once. So what we're going to do here is we're going to rewrite it as y minus 3 just once because it's a common factor, and the other two that we've got left, the 3y and the minus 1, we're going to rewrite it inside a second bracket. So here we're going to have a 3y minus 1, and that's the question done. Alright, and let's jump to the last question. Last question is about factorizing a somewhat more complicated expression, but again, using what we've learned earlier, I can see that here I've got x plus 2 squared, and here I've got x plus 2, and we can see that they're the same, apart from the fact that this one's got squared and that one doesn't. And like I said to you, you take the one with the lowest power. So in this case, I've got the x plus 2 to the power of 1, which has the lowest power. So I'm going to take that as my factor, so x plus 2 as my factor, and then I'm going to open up another bracket, and I'm going to ask myself, what can I multiply the x plus 2 by to make it 3x plus 2 squared? In this case, I'm missing the 3x plus 2. Let me just rub this off here. And here I've got x plus 2, and I need minus 10x plus 2, so I'm missing a minus 10. And then finally I've got the plus 3 right at the end. What you need to do here is inside the bracket you need to tidy things up by multiplying out the bracket. So in this case we're going to have x plus 2. If I expand that bracket, 3 times the x gives me 3x, and 3 times 2 gives me plus 6, then minus 10, and then plus 3 at the end. And here we've got x plus 2, and then 3x, 6 minus 10 gives me minus 4, and then right at the end I've got the plus 3, and there's your answer. Alright, I hope that helps, and if you enjoyed that video and you're watching this video in my blog, can you please click the like button, and I hope to see you soon in another video. So that was another tutorial from GCSEMathsGuide.com. See you soon, bye.